You want a drink? Yeah, thought so.
Hello everybody, MehtalChaynzz speaking, and welcome back once again to another episode of Talk Nerdy to Me. For those unfamiliar with said series, I talk about nerdy shit, and then I encourage you guys to discuss the topic further in the comments below. And by nerdy topics, I mean literally anything. It can be anything from a variety of movies, TV shows, video games, comic books, this fucking garbage right here. Yes, that's right. We're talking about another atrocious film that Marvel for some reason pooped out into existence and made us all suffer for it. We're talking about Thor Ragnarok. But before we get into why this Skyrim side quest sucks squirrel sperm, I need to give a big thanks and shout out to my wife, who actually helped with the majority of the research. She actually makes a guest appearance right there. See? That's my baby bear. Anyways, back on topic. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't my most despised Marvel movie, but it's definitely in the top 5 for very good reasons, which I'm about to explain. Now, I wouldn't say it's Iron Man 3 levels of bad, but it's pretty bad. Like, I really don't know how else to put it with this one, guys, except explain why I have such disdain for it. So let's just jump right in, and I'm gonna need to be a little bit more drunk if I'm gonna continue. This is gonna hurt.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
So, fast forward, I just rewatched the movie, and I can definitely say that my opinion has changed. It's worse than I remember. I do not have a single blues clue who was the cancerous Kentucky Fried cunt stain who approved this crap, but they deserve to have explosive diarrhea in a gas station stall with no toilet paper. Nonetheless, this is the film y'all voted for me to look over and review I shall. In the words of Courage the Cowardly Dog, the things I do for love. Alright, you know what this means. It's time to recap. This shitty story starts off with Thor sitting down in a cage and monologuing to a dead guy. The movie rightfully says fuck this shit and drops him out of the cage, yo-yoing his way down to Surtur.
Thor, son of Odin.
Surtur, son of a bitch, you're still alive.
So Thor's all like, man, I thought my daddy murked yo ass ages ago. And Surtur's all like, nah, I'm ready for Ragnarok, bitch. I'm ready for the end of your fucking world. And then Thor's like, yeah, cool story, bro. So I'm gonna knock your head off and take your crown and stuff it in a vault. Sound cool? Cool. So after Thor wins, he tries to go home using the Bifrost as usual, but something's wrong. Heimdall's not picking up his phone. Got my boy Thor over here thinking, what the fuck's with this dank-ass cave? Heimdall, pick up the phone! I know I got full bars! I know I paid my Verizon bill, so pick up the goddamn phone! Ah, but alas, instead of a badass character like Heimdall, we get this piece of shit right here. The mighty Scourge, the great waster of time, the master of baiters. Literally the worst betrayal in MCU history. And no, I don't mean worst betrayal as in, oh, this is so heartbreaking, how could he do this? No. I mean, he sucks at betraying Asgard. He signs up with Hela later on, and she assigns him as an executioner by her side. He doesn't execute one Asgardian at all. He's completely useless. Do you have any idea how badly written a character has to be if they don't even address you by name in the cast list for this movie? They just address him as executioner. You can't make this shit up. Anyway, back on track. Hurry up already. Stop staring at the camera like a bad male porn star and stick it in already. Finally, after Scourge graduated 5th grade anatomy, Thor is finally teleported home and we are greeted with a title card for this White Castle aftermath. Scourge is upset because he didn't get his gherkin touched, and Thor says, well, dude, who the fuck are you? I'm Scourge, hello? What's a Scourge? You know what? Better question. Where's Heimdall? Oh, that guy? He was a traitor, so he got exiled. Traitor? That doesn't sound right at all. Thor senses something is completely off, so he leaves Scourge behind like a little bitch and goes to find out why the fuck Heimdall's not at his post. And instead of immediate answers, he gets greeted with this, I guess? For those not familiar with the plot, in Thor the Dark World, Loki quote-unquote dies, and then as soon as Thor leaves the chamber after talking to Odin, it's revealed that Loki threw Odin out and took over himself. How he did this? No one really knows, and it doesn't really get explained in this movie either. Be expecting a lot of bullshit to happen with very little to no explanation whatsoever in this movie. It's kind of a pattern. So Odin appears to be laying about like a lazy slob, watching a terrible reenactment of the second movie. Thor obviously sees right through this bullshit, knowing that it's Loki, and decides to confront him.
Oh shit.
Also, I just want to point out how disappointing this is. I mean, Loki had all this build-up and hype from the second movie, suggesting he was going to cause some fuck shit shenanigans, but instead, he decides to settle in Asgard, pretending to be Odin, sucking his own dick, and basically worshipping himself like some sort of glorified K-pop star.
Do me a favor. Lock this away in the vault so it doesn't turn into a giant monster and destroy the whole planet.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Thor rightfully calls out Loki, stating that the Allfather would never be this negligent with the 9 realms. Loki doubles down on his bullshit, and Thor basically says, yep, you know what, I've had enough of this. So here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna tell the truth, or my hammer's going right through your face. Loki pusses out and gets out of the way. Soon afterwards, Useless over here decides to very lately announce Thor's arrival. And this, my friends, is the scene where one of my favorite quotes from Loki comes from.
You had one job. Just the one.
Thor says, enough knick-knack paddywhack, throw me a bone, cut the shit, and let's bring our old man home. And Loki says, yeah, about that. I may have cast Modify Memory with a level 9 spell slot and sent Sophia Petrillo to Shady Pines. So Loki and Thor end up back on Earth to search for Odin, where they are suddenly met by Benefit Cucumber Snack. Benny's dick comes on my snatch. Sorry, I keep getting that wrong. Doctor Strange, we'll say Doctor Strange. Alas, misfortune greets both Loki and Thor as they go to search for Odin, because Odin's not fucking there. The home that Loki stuck him in is torn down, and somehow Odin decided to wander all the way to Norway. Go figure. Thanks to Strange, they're taken right to where Odin is in Norway, where this fucking shit happens.
My sons, I've been waiting for you. It's already begun. She's coming. Goddess of death, Hela, the firstborn, your sister.
Whatever she is, we can stop her together. We can face her
No, we
together.
won't. I'm on a different path now. This you must face alone. I love you, my sons. Look at that.
I'm sorry, did they just take Odin, a critical character to Thor's story, and straight up fucking deleted him out of the movie? What the fuck is this shit? They made Odin a solid father, a brilliant general, the fucking king of Asgard, look at his sons and say, oh, by the way, you have a sister. Oh, I'm also gonna die now, so, yeah, you're gonna be on your own with this one. Pull a dad joke going, hey, what's that over there? And then fucking nopes out of the movie? What kind of drugs were the writers of this movie on? And can I have some? The extreme level of disrespect that these writers have for a main character like Odin is honestly unforgivable. I mean, if you're going to kill off a main character, at least give some sort of impact. When it comes to Freya's death, I actually teared up. It was heart-wrenching. With Odin's death, I felt nothing, dude. This is bullshit. shit. I mean, at least Thor still has his friends. You know, the guys that have been there since the literal fucking beginning. And they're important to his character and story. And it's not like the writers of the film would be so retarded that they would kill them off in similar bitchy fashion. Right?
He tried it.
Fuck! Listen, I'm not even gonna cover Hela's shenanigans in Asgard for the rest of this recap, because there's really no point. All she really does is kill everybody, reveals through exposition her non-existent backstory and history with Asgard, and acknowledges that the eternal flame is a thing for plot reasons. And yeah, that's about it, really. She's just a big Mary Sue character that's trying her damnness to be relevant, but fails epically. Kind of like Jake Paul trying to be a legitimate boxer. It's just not gonna happen. Anyways, soon after Odin dies, Hela conveniently appears at that exact place and time, then tries to flex and say, "I'm him." And Thor goes, "The fuck you are, you blue waffled little bitch." And he yeets Mjolnir at her, so she catches the damn thing and breaks it. Hold up. A couple of questions. Number one, I thought the whole point of being able to lift Mew Mew in the MCU is you had to be worthy. So how the hell is Hela, of all people, grabbing it? And number two, how did she fucking break that shit? Mary's gotta sue, I guess. Moving on. So Loki notices that this fight is going nowhere and decides to get them the hell out of there. Thor obviously sees this as a bad idea and tries to warn Loki, but it's too late. They're already in the Bifrost and they're heading back to Asgard, with Hela close behind. And I don't know how the hell this is a thing, but I guess it's a thing. Hela knocks them out of the Bifrost on their way back to Asgard and teleports them to the rest of this fucking movie. Oh boy. So Thor finally lands in Grouchland, USA, where he's rescued by a Rogue One reject who somehow captures him by shocking him?
What?
Wait a minute, hold on. Thor is the literal god of thunder, and he somehow is taken out easily with a device that shocks him, you know, with electricity? The fucking thing that he, I don't know, controls? What kind of backwards fuckery sense does that make? Look, I was gonna bring this up at a later point in the video, but I can't ignore it anymore. 80% of this entire fucking movie is about Planet Hulk. I mean, honestly, Ragnarok is treated more like a Skyrim side quest rather than the main point of the whole fucking movie. And it's honestly really sad. So because of that, I'm just going to skip all the crap that doesn't need to be there and just get on with it because, dude, the bloated storyline and this section is honestly taking up way too much time. And to be perfectly frank, the more I talk about this, I'm just gonna get more and more pissed off. So we're just gonna skip ahead to some scenes that I think are actually relevant in nature, somewhat, and move on.
Many apologies, Your Majesty.
Skip. Okay, I actually do have to cover this at least. So, after Thor is brought back to the main part on Sakaar, he basically goes through a really fucking weird Willy Wonka transition for some reason. There's no earthly way of knowing where the fuck this shit is going. This whole plot line is blowing, yet somehow this turd's still floating, like bad dial-up connection loading. Yet here we are still moping, getting more nauseous while we're hoping this fucking shit is finally showing something not worth the loathing, the hatred that keeps on growing and shows no signs of slowing. And then we get Jeff Goldmember. Yeah, for some reason they chose Jeff Goldblum to play this role. Don't ask why, I don't even know. Skip. Nope. 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 Okay, this is actually a good scene. So, Goldmember put Thor and Hulk into a ring and made them fight each other. Okay, look. The only reason I'm not completely dogging on this scene right now is because apparently a kid on set helped write part of the script.
How about you, Chris? Any Thor?
When we were shooting Ragnarok, we had a young kid on set who was unwell at the time and had come to visit, and we were shooting the scene with Hulk and Thor in the arena, and it was right when I was talking to Hulk and I was saying, "Oh my God, it's you! Where have you been?" And And he was on the sideline. He's like, "Why don't you say when you look up at Loki in the crowd, say he's a friend from work." And then so that line.
A kid gave you that line?
Kid gave us that line, yeah, and became one of the best lines in the movie.
It is one of the best lines in the movie.
Hey, way to go, kid. Maybe you have a future in screenwriting. Hopefully in a better movie than this fucking shit. Nope. Fucking no. No. Skip. Nope.
3 days later.
I am out of paper and I am out of patience. So, Thor tries to escape the planet via the Quinjet that Hulk landed on the planet with, because why wouldn't he? And Hulk tries to tear through the ship, saying, "Hey, no, don't leave," because Hulk wants to smash more. Pause. Then Thor freaks out and tries to press a whole bunch of buttons to try to turn the Quinjet on or to make Hulk stop. One of the two will work. Then he accidentally presses a button that shows a message from Nat from the Age of Ultron movie. And this... Oh man, dude, this actually hurt to watch. Hi guys, it's me. So I was going to show a small clip of Hulk turning back into Banner, you know, after literally beating the shit out of himself in the Quinjet. But unfortunately, somehow, that apparently displeased the almighty mouse god, and Disney got its fifi hurt because I wanted to review their movie. So even though that this entire video is about Thor Ragnarok, that one little clip apparently is just not allowed. I'm just gonna put a link to the scene right here if you guys want to see it, even though that channel's perfectly fine showing it for some reason. I just want to upload this and entertain all of you. So instead, I'm going to use this segment also to very quickly announce that I have a Patreon if you guys want to support me on there as well. The link is in the description. Maybe buy me a beer or two for the next review, or just in general. But yeah, this is the best I could do, guys. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Disney, and fuck you, YouTube. Okay, moving on. Then this tender moment is ruined by this walking vagina with legs. I do not care what anyone says. I cannot stand Mark Ruffalo for the life of me. The guy is one of the biggest beta males I've ever seen in existence, and he honestly makes me sick. There's only 2 other scenes besides the one I just showed that I actually enjoyed his performance as Banner, and that was in the first Avengers movie. The one part where he says that he tried to swallow a bullet and the other guy spat it out. That, and when he transformed into Hulk for the first time in that movie as well. Those are the only 2 scenes besides this one that I thought he genuinely did good. The rest of them, I'm sorry guys, I can't with this guy. They honestly should have just kept Edward Norton. You know, the better Hulk, the better Banner, the better everything. But that's a rant for another video. Loki and Valkyrie had a sparring match at one point, for some reason, and Loki revealed through disposition this crazy fight that happened between the Valkyries and Hela a long-ass time ago. This scene honestly would have made this movie 1,000 times more tolerable, had it been longer, but the movie kicked in and said, nah, we're not allowed to have cool shit. Let's mark this up to a Naruto flashback and get back to the fecal fuckfest that is this film.
The devil's anus.
After one big pod race later, Thor and the others finally get back to Asgard and on with the actual story. Hela and Thor get into a fight, and Hela says, father like son. Well, almost. And fucking slices his eye out. Wait, what the fuck is this? That's not what a slash wound looks like. Is that a burn? Is that a gouge? Is Thor going hollow? This is some cheap makeup, Marvel, even for y'all. Got some Bollywood level shit up in this bitch. And then Hela has to remind us for the 15th time why she's the main villain.
I'm the goddess of death.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
And then after another Naruto flashback, Thor goes, oh yeah, that's right, I'm the god of thunder. Even though I should have literally known that since the day I was fucking born. Okay, that's it. I can't. Stop. Forever stop with this movie. Actually, I do have to keep going because one of my favorite parts of the movie is actually coming up, so. Scourge turned against Hela because, wow, we totally didn't see that coming. And his death proved synonymous with his life. Completely fucking pointless.
For Asgard.
After a while of fighting Hela, Valkyrie and Thor realize once again that this fight is going nowhere. So they let out their loudest
Oh, toodles!
and revive Surtur using the Eternal Flame to start Ragnarok, just to kill Hela. Here's what I don't understand. Why wasn't Valkyrie the one to raise Surtur? Hela slaughtered Valkyrie's sisters, so it would make more sense that she would be the one to kill Hela with this for poetic justice. I don't even like Valkyrie as a character. She annoys the dog piss out of me, yet I was rooting for that to happen. Marked up to another missed opportunity, I guess. As our heroes fuck off to space, Surtur is having the time of his life, like a little kid in a playground. Then Hela comes back again and says, how many times do I gotta tell you little motherfuckers, I'm him? And Surtur does what we've all wanted to do to this little bitch since the very beginning.
Die, you piece of shit!
Pussy!
We might as well stop the movie there, but there's a little bit more. Thor and the others tried to fuck off to a better movie and they get boarded by Thanos. There you go. That's all you need to know. Alright, now we can move on to... What the fuck? How long was that recap? Okay, we gotta move on.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
So, do you guys recall when I said this movie was 80% about Planet Hulk and not so much about Ragnarok? Well, that's part of the problem. Another part of the problem is the approach they took with these two stories. So I'm going to give a very brief analysis over both tales and hope you guys understand a little bit more of my outrage. Starting with the most obvious elephant in the room, we're going to be talking about Planet Hulk first. So for those unfamiliar with the story, a gamma bomb went off and basically caused the Hulk to lose control and attack Las Vegas. The Illuminati decide that Hulk is way too dangerous to remain on Earth, so their solution is to trick Hulk into getting into a spaceship and yeeting him to another planet. Given the planet that the gluten-free Masons had chosen had no intelligent life whatsoever, so Hulk couldn't hurt anyone. It was actually really peaceful. It was a good plan, except for one thing. Hulk got angry, as usual, and smashed up the ship because he was pissed off, and ended up sending it in the opposite direction of the chosen planet, landing him instead on a desolate planet known as Sakaar. And this planet was the exact opposite of what the Illuminati had in mind for Hulk. It was essentially a giant communist utopia. Everyone was starving, everyone was at each other's throats, there was an evil cock-carb in charge. Dictator, excuse me, sorry. This asswipe is none other than the tyrannical Red King, a bloodthirsty emperor of Sakaar who held gladiator fights for his own amusement. And with Hulk being, well, Hulk, he had to see him fight in the arena. Hulk naturally was kicking ass and taking names, and Hulk realized that this guy is not only a piece of shit to him, but to literally everyone else on the planet. So Hulk and a group of fighters all agreed to help each other and break out of the arena to start a huge rebellion against the Red Tyrant. The Red King goes full Lex Luthor up in this bitch, and suits up in mechanized war armor to fight the Hulk. Alas, after a great fight, Hulk comes out on top and overthrows the walking used tampon and becomes the new king of Sakaar. And things were going great for a while. Hulk was king, he had a wife, and he was even having a kid on the way. And the planet was somewhat peaceful. He was keeping the peace rather well. But as stated before, this is a Marvel story, so naturally a good ending for a character just can't exist. The people of Sakaar discovered Hulk's old ship, then decided to mess with it. This was a terrible idea because the reactor that powered the ship was damaged and unstable. So when they fucked around, they found out. Hulk noticed the reactor was going to detonate, so he yeeted that bitch harder than Disney throwing money at terrible ideas. Unfortunately, Mrs. Hulk and the baby perished anyways, leaving Hulk devastated. This ultimately led our mean green smashing machine on a warpath, blaming the Illuminati, the Avengers, and Earth as a whole for this travesty, and thus leading to an even darker tale, World War Hulk. But that's another tale for another video. Right now we gotta get back to the other 20% of this movie. And guys, this was really rough to follow up on. Remember how I said the plot was bloated and unnecessary? Well, come to find out, that's because it was bloated and unnecessary. They didn't follow a singular solid plot, because that's just too easy. They instead based the story on multiple references. Not stories, references. This chop suey of shit ultimately took small inspirations from the destruction of Asgard, unworthy Thor. It even references like a bat out of hell, for only one scene of course, and I think we all know this scene. Other than that, this was just garbage. They didn't even stay true to the Ragnarok in Norse myth. And, according to Waifu's notes, Ragnarok in the Marvel Comics is just a cyclical event. They treat it like a computer hard reboot rather than an Aesir apocalypse. In 2004, there was a 6-part comic that referenced Ragnarok, but everyone who died just pulls a DBZ and just comes back to life afterwards. So there's really no point. Thor gains the Odin Force and recreates Asgard on Earth in Bronxton, Oklahoma? Because, that makes perfect sense, I guess. And Norman Osborn destroys it because he was scared of a powerful race of extra-dimensional beings living within the borders of the United States. There's also Asgardia, a place Tony Stark designed to orbit near Saturn.
And so on and so forth.
Anyways, this shit is too confusing and lame, so we're gonna talk about the Norse mythology instead. Because that makes way more sense than this, right?
A boat made of fingernails and toenails. Sounds legit. A great flood that leaves 2 humans to repopulate. Yeah, I think Jesus might sue for copyright on that one. Wait, what the fuck? Loki gets fucked by a horse?
On second thought, maybe we should leave the mythology to the mythology guy. By the way, you should check out his channel, he's really cool. In the meantime, let's just move on to the next section. What the fuck?
No, you cannot joke about that.
Yeah, that's not funny.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come up to the third reason for my irreversible ire for this incompetent invention of idiocy. But before that, I introduce you to a new mini-segment of my series. A mini-segment I like to call Happy Hour. It's where I try drinks I haven't tried before, and do so near the end of my episodes. Think of it as a tiny yay or nay review. Today's poison is Tanqueray Gin. Let's do this. Okay. It's not bad, but honestly, it tastes about the same as Roku Gin. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I would like to have something to mix with it to amplify the flavor. Like maybe some fruit or something. Other than that, okay, I'll give it a yay. And now we can move on to the other reason why this story fell flatter than Miley Cyrus's non-existent ass. The unfortunate thing is, this is the same reoccurring reason why most of Marvel's movies, post-Endgame, have been in steeper decline than my mental health. They have forgotten how to be funny. And I don't mean they can't pull off a good laugh. They have the potential, but they've stopped trying to tell a good, meaningful story with legitimate serious moments and instead settled with rinse and repeat humor that progressively, and I say that word very ironically, loses flavor. Marvel has become the McDonald's of the movie making industry. They have given up quality taste and originality and settled for what is cheap and easy to produce while relying on their brand name to keep them afloat. And if we're sticking with that comparison, allow me to show you this movie as the prime example of a squish fish patty on a bun. What? I mean, the Filet-O-Fish sandwich. Wait, seriously, does anyone actually eat those? So here's my 2 cents on the matter. Number 1, this movie has no fucking idea when to get serious at all. I can count on my fingers how many serious scenes were in this movie. Exactly 2. And you gotta keep in mind, there were several important deaths in this movie that happened. Odin and the Warriors 3, characters that have literally been with Thor since the very fucking beginning of his trilogy, and they just kill them off like nothing and then go right back to making funnies. That's the same as Marvel creating a Spider-Man movie, showing Uncle Ben getting shot, and then making a knock-knock joke 3 minutes later. That's just not a thing. And don't get me wrong, this movie is funny. It got me laughing several times, I gotta admit. But that's the problem. It's not supposed to be funny. Because number 2, they chose 2 of the worst stories possible to turn into a fucking comedy. They took Ragnarok, the literal end of the world in Norse myth, and Planet Hulk, one of the most epic and depressing stories in MCU history, and turned them into comedies. That's like trying to turn Schindler's List and 300 into sitcoms. Also, completely sorry, I totally forgot to bring this up before, but I'm gonna do it now. Why are there 2 separate stories in one movie? Why not just make 2 separate movies? I mean, think about it. It's a smarter move. Thor would complete his trilogy, we'd actually get to focus on Ragnarok and appreciate its story, and then Hulk would finally get a fucking sequel. I mean, think about it. Hulk hasn't gotten a single sequel. Every other fucking Avenger has gotten a trilogy. Hulk? He got 1 movie. And no, we don't count this one. That's not canon. We count this one. This would have been a great opportunity to give Hulk a trilogy if you think about it. First you got the Incredible Hulk, then you could throw in Planet Hulk, and then lead that on into World War Hulk. Dude, that would have been the greatest trilogy ever. And if they were pressed for time and they absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, had to include Planet Hulk in Ragnarok's storyline, the least they could do is give us a fight between Hulk and the Red King. We want the Red King! Not this semen stain over here! A fight between Hulk and the Red King would be 1,000 times more entertaining. But nah, Marvel decided to raw dog us with 0 lube or consent. We let them get away with it for this long, and we've been suffering ever since.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it.
Well, I mean, one good excuse for them not trying the whole Hulk trilogy thing was probably because they had some better ideas and movies in mind that they wanted to try out, so I can kind of understand. Wait, I take it back. No, I refuse!
I apologize. I lost my train of thought. I got carried away.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I do not like this movie, and I thoroughly look forward to never watching it ever again. My head, it's killing me right now. I need something greasy, I need lots of pain meds, and I need black coffee. Lots and lots and lots of black coffee. I want to be free of this pain. Oh, okay. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed my suffering, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to share, please. I require more attention so I can keep bringing you guys quality content. I'll make sure to put up a poll pretty soon for the next few topics in mind for Talk Nerdy to Me. If you guys see an option that you like, make sure to vote. If you don't see an option that you would suggest on the poll, make sure to comment below and let me know what you want to see in the future. I'll be sure to look into it. Also, if you liked this movie for whatever reason, talk about it in the comments below. And if you absolutely despise this movie like I do, also make sure to comment below. I want to hear your suggestions. I want to hear your opinions. I want to know what you think about this film and the comics and everything related. By all means, ladies and gentlemen, talk nerdy to me.